Welcome back to the Underway podcast. Thank you for joining us. Remember, Underway is the only way. Today we are joined by one of our newest coaches here at CrossFit Underway, Rachel Gedye. Welcome, Rachel.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming in.
Rach.
Thanks for having me on.
No worries at all. No worries at all. This is your first podcast ever.
But yeah, first podcast ever, actually.
Yeah, beautiful, awesome. I think I might get you to get a little bit close to the mic. Get nice and cozy with it. Guys, we've got Rachel on. We're gonna cover a few topics today. We're gonna talk about Rachel's training background and what she's passionate about in her training and what she'd like to bring to everyone at Underway and the coaching floor, and what her spice is as a coach and her different backgrounds and knowledges on things. And it's going to be good to deep dive into what we're going to talk about today. So, Rach, my first question for you is just to get a bit of background and when you started training and how did that journey start for you?
Okay, so I first started training when I was 17 years old. I got into strength training. So I signed up at my first gym. It was like less than a kilometer away from my house. I think, we're going to get nice and personal today.
No worries. That's fine. Take it as personal as you want.
So why I started training, there's a few reasons behind it, I think. But I feel like if you talk to a few people, not everyone had the best kind of upbringing or maybe the best kind of home life. And the gym very much so felt like an escape for me growing up. So, I first signed up when I was 17 years old. And right then I was like in the thick of VCE. And VCE was, at the time, I thought it was exactly what I wanted to do. I was doing all like the top end classes. Like I remember specialist math methods, biology, chemistry. It was a hectic time. And I absolutely hated it. And I had no outlet.
Smart cookie.
Yeah. I am book smart, but I actually hate book work. I'm a kinesthetic learner. Yeah. I love doing things with my hands or just learning by doing things. And so, the gym was my outlet. And for the last year of year 12, I was like, I'd be up at 6 a.m. in the morning instead of studying. I was at the gym training. I was hitting those double sessions, 4 p.m. school would finish. I'd be back at the gym. It was just an outlet for me. It made me feel good. It made me feel happy. It made me feel in control. And then, it was, year 12 still went all right. Definitely didn't hit what I thought I wanted to. But I still did very well in terms of training and also managing VCE. But I think that my strength training and just like getting involved in the gym had a lot to do with how well I ended up doing in school anyway. Mm-hmm.
And if anyone actually doesn't know, Rach and I went to school together, and that was sort of the connection of how Rach found her way to Underway, is that we went to school together and then we got chatting and she's like, yeah, I'm CrossFit coaching now. And I'm like, well, yeah, come coach at our gym. Like, let's do this. So, I went down a different path. I was doing VCAL, but she was always, hitting the books hard in school, which I didn't actually know you were too into training into school. I didn't realize you got into that.
Well, it was only like I was not really sporty at all growing up, and that was because sport in my family wasn't really seen as something that should be prioritized. It was, books, getting into university, all of that. That was like, that's what you should be doing. That's where you should be heading. So whenever I felt like I tried to get into some kind of sporting, like, physical fitness, it was always seen as like, that's the last thing you should be looking at, or, how is that going to help you in the long run? And I think in actual fact, someone was talking about this the other day. I can't remember. I was looking at something on Instagram and someone was talking about how you should be prioritizing fitness as like a doctor's appointment or a psychologist appointment. I actually can't remember who was talking about this.
Right.
But I was like, that is so true.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly how I see fitness. And if anything, I feel like that's why I'm here today. Like fitness, physical health, it has got me through some pretty dark periods in my life. And I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't have joined a gym.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably share a similar experience in that way. Yeah, I really value my training. I know a lot of people do out there as well. But yeah, love my training. Don't know what I would do without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would not be I would not be Rachel Gedye. I would, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
What would we call you?
I don't know. Like, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So what sort of training were you doing in the gym back in the day? Like, were you just hitting hypertrophy? Like, what were you smacking? Were you doing booty bands? Like, what was the go?
Oh man, it was. Oh, I cringe to think back to it. I wasn't.
Everyone does dumb training at the gym. It's great. We love the OG stories of the training.
It's funny because like I grew up with brothers, so for quite a few years I was always faster and stronger than them, and then it was like one day they all of a sudden just were faster than me.
Jane.
And they were running faster than me, or like they were doing more push-ups than I was, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Or like tackle, and they would beat me down to the ground, and I was furious. Like I was actually not okay with it.
Yeah, so then you're like, I'm gonna smash some iron.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So I walked into the gym, and like, don't get me wrong, first like 3 months I was like on the elliptical or whatever, because the weights room was scary, and I was like, oh my God, like people look at me and I look like an idiot. But one day there was no one in the weights room, and I went in there by myself, and I just started like picking up weights, and I was like, this feels so good. Like I love this. Like it just felt like a whole different stimulus to my body, and it just felt so natural. And then like later that day or like week, whatever, I came home and I started looking up like weight training for women, and that's when I think I was lucky to kind of dive into that. As my first experience in the gym was I started looking up women who lifted weights. So I saw women who were like muscly and like, you know, had muscle and like weren't stick thin. And like I saw the weight that they were lifting, you know, they were lifting like 120 kilos. And like back then, for a girl to be lifting 120 kilos, I think was pretty significant compared to, you know, like a bunch of my clients are lifting like over 100 kilos. All the girls here can lift, you know, pretty close or over 100 kilos. Like it's not, it's not like oh my God, like that's crazy. But back then I feel like that was like, that would just blow your mind.
Right.
But I saw all these muscular women and I was like, oh my God, they seem so powerful. And in there, like, they look like, they're like very independent and they know exactly what they want to do. And it was just like this powerful energy was like just exuding from them. And I was like, that's what I want. So I'm going to go to the gym and I'm just going to lift some heavy weight or lift as heavy as I can. And so that was just the goal. Every time I'd go to the gym, I was just lifting heavier than I could the day before or the set before. Bench press, that was my favorite lift because it was a lift that all the boys were doing.
Let's go.
So I was like, I want to be I want to lift as much as the boys can on bench press.
Yeah, I got to get the jump on my brothers.
Yeah.
They're going to start benching soon. They're already hitting push-ups.
Yeah, I need to
get the jump on them.
Ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So that was like, and it's bad, but it was every single day I'd come in and I would do bench. And my bench skyrocketed. Like I got to like a 60 kilo bench.
Yeah, you are good at bench press. Yeah. So
it's
you're benching every day at the gym.
The bench every day program. The bench every day program. Let's go.
Oh, one of the boys.
Leg day, I was like, what the fuck is that? So yeah, it was benching like every day. It was a good time. I loved it. I'd get cranky when I couldn't, you know, put an extra 2.5 kilos on every week for my bench, but you know, I got my bench up there pretty quick. So I don't even know where we're going with this, but
well, yeah.
That's essentially what my training regime. It was just, you know, do what I would enjoy and do what I was good at.
Right.
Which came to kick me in the ass later.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's done some dumb stuff when they first started training because you have no idea. Like you go on, like, well, most people's first experience is you either get shown somebody at the gym showing you what to do.
Yeah.
And then you take that as gospel, or you get on the internet and you're like, all right, like training program or something. And then that's how you get started for a lot of people. So that, I think that first, you know, I guess a lot of people's first experience, or like in their own training, that's why like commercial gyms are so bad, is because you got no direction. Correct, there's nobody helping you. There's no one telling you what's going on. And then you're just you know, who knows what you're doing? Like,
Yeah.
like it's very hit or miss whether you're actually going to be doing some sort of training that's going to be like optimal or beneficial for you.
Yeah.
But I guess you just at that age, everything's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's all
exactly.
exciting. It's all like, oh, I just want to do it all
Just want to do bench press.
in the gym twice a day benching.
Yeah.
Did you bench twice a day some days?
Oh man, yeah, of course I did. Yeah, I did some.
It's like Andrew Locke. He's like the top end physio that I would send very injured people to. But I remember going and seeing him. I had a disc injury at the time. I went and saw him in his garage gym in Oakley, and sat down at his bench. He had like 90-kilo kettlebells, and he had like this big bench set up. It's the first time I ever saw like an actual powerlifting set up for a bench, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm training for a bench at the moment, and yeah, I'm like, okay, and he's like, yeah, I'm like, well, how often are you benching? He's like, oh, I'm bench pressing 5 days a week, twice a day. And I'm like, okay.
Like medicine.
well, yeah. And this guy is like, I don't know what he benches. I can't say. It's definitely north of 200 kilos, 100%. I wouldn't be surprised it was north of 225, but he was talking about how he was doing technique sessions and speed sessions. And so he would just get on the bench and he would just like practice perfect bar path. He would do like, 4 sets of 10 at like sub maximal weight, like something like 40 kilos, like, which for him is like not even an empty bar for us. Like, and he would just like practice, like he would just grind the groove. And yeah, so, but, yeah, no, the bench every day for it works. Well, I mean,
Well, if you want to get better at something, you're going to do, if you're doing it once a week versus doing it 10 times a week, who's going to get better? You know what I mean? The person doing it 10 times or once?
100%. Yeah. The higher the frequency, like it's like, Travis Mash, I think says like, if you were in prison and you had to like bench a certain weight, like, and to get out, how often would you bench? Would you just bench once a week?
Yeah.
Like on your most optimal program? Like, no, you would be benching every day. You'd be doing some sort of bench press every single day. Probably, like, yeah. You might have a think about it. You might have a rest day every third day. I don't know. What would you do, Rach? If you were in prison and the only way to get out of bench press is you had to bench 100 kilo? You got a good bench press right now. What's your current bench press?
It was 82 and a half. It's 82 and a half.
That's good. That's solid.
I was hoping, or like my goal was, because I was going to do a powerlifting comp last year, was to probably be hitting that 100 in my powerlifting comp.
Yeah, mad.
Yeah, and I was like, that is like, I can see it and it's going to happen. Like, I just knew it was there. Like, it's like my bench press compared to any other lift. Like, I was bench pressing probably 5 times a week for 1 to 2 years, compared to, maybe I was squatting once a week for the first 2 years. So my bench press is like, it will stay there. Like a couple of weeks ago, I hadn't benched in like 6 weeks, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to bench today. I was like, it was extras and I was doing it with the boys, of course. And I just built up to like a heavy set of 3, and I just did 70, and I was like, okay, cool.
Got this.
I was like that. I thought I wasn't going to get that, but I got it. So it's just.
So now you're in prison.
Yeah.
And to get out, you've got to bench 100 kilos, and you're not allowed to leave the cell until.
Bench one day, like body weight push-ups the next day.
Yeah.
Some body weight kind of movement, accessories.
Would you dip?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we like dips.
Dips.
Yeah.
Dumbbells, inclines. Got to get those inclines in.
Well, how many times do you bench in a week? Yeah, you need upper chest development.
Yeah, I reckon I'd go 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
3 on, 1 off. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 3 on, 1 off. Well, the classic CrossFit.com methodology of training. Yeah, 3 on, 1 off.
Well, if you're training to get out of prison and you're sitting there and you got nothing to do, you'd probably be benching multiple times a day. I would be.
Yeah. Oh, Russ is stepping it up.
If you want to get out, you're not
leaving until, and then what are they feeding you?
What's the weight that you got to press to get out?
They're feeding you oats and protein shakes.
3 times a day, like snacks.
Oats and protein shakes. That's all they're feeding you 3 times a day.
Anyway, this is not going to happen, but
but You'd bench multiple times a day.
But if you want to get good at something, you got to do it a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the method of the story.
Oh,
Moral of the story.
100%. Well, you look at like gymnasts. Gymnasts train hectic hours in the gym.
hours.
Hectic. Swimmers too.
Swimmers, like morning and night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. They do crazy. They're like I know, like, yeah, it's like 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. Gymnasts something crazy, like 4 hour sessions every day. Like, and they do it from a young age too. Like, even just mentally, like, it's to see who's got the mental.
Just imagine that mental
fortitude.
discipline as like a 5-year-old. Could you imagine, like, you know, a gymnast from the age of 3 to 5, how much more mental discipline they would have than like the average adult? I think that's very interesting.
100%.
Side note.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the discipline that gymnasts that were able to get through that level of programming, like that challenge, that level of challenging programming, like at that young of an age, like the discipline they would have later in life would be insane. Like gymnastics is like one of the like sports I want to get my kids to go and do for sure. I'm like, go and learn how to be a gymnast.
I just think like the progress is so hard to measure. Like weight training, you can measure. It's like I added a kilo to the bar this week.
Yeah.
It's gymnastics. It's like I got a centimeter higher on like my back lever or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like I got my chin like a centimeter like further over the bar and like my pull-ups. Like that is so hard to measure.
Yeah.
And just think about like how crippling that can be for you sometimes, where you walk out of the gym and you're like, did I even improve today?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I came to the gym and yes, technically I have improved, but like, did I actually do better?
Yeah.
Like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, there's even like I would say there's movements that are like that in CrossFit too, like the gymnastics movements. Like you're like, did I actually improve like my positioning today? Or like those people that have like always trying to get strict pull-ups, like over and over again, they just can't get their first strict pull-up, and they're like those people that are trying to develop that pulling strength for years, and it's just like, oh, I didn't get it again. Like,
Yeah, I guess it's almost like weight loss, right? It's similar. Like, you know, you can be at the same weight, but you're following your plan and nothing's changing. Then all of a sudden in a 2-week period, you drop 4 kilos. If that's your goal, like, you know, you're trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
And like progress, the same sort of thing happens at the gym. You like, if you're consistent and you keep rocking up and you keep going, eventually those things just sort of manifest at some point. Like it starts to, like, you're not getting anywhere, but then all of a sudden you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that, like,
You get a breakthrough point.
Yeah,
Suddenly you're running.
but yeah, that's why weight training is sort of like, I guess it is rewarding, and it sort of keeps you hungry because you can see that you're like, oh, I just did lift heavier than what I did.
Yeah.
It's easy to make that measurable progress. It's easy to measure.
Yeah.
But because you're putting weight on a barbell, whereas like, yeah, your body weight movements, calisthenics, you don't have that, that measuring tape all the time. You just think, oh, am I getting better? Am I getting better? And then like when you do it, you're like, I did it. So
yeah.
it just is a little bit harder to work towards,
So true.
like mentally, especially if you think that I can't do this.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep going. So if something's important to you, you just got to keep doing it and keep going until you can do it.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Yeah.
100%.
And understand that like the goals that you want to achieve, you won't achieve them in the time period that you want to achieve them in. It'll probably take longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's super important because everybody's like 3 months time.
Yeah.
3 months. I want to look like, and they have their like role model that I want to look like this. I want to get there in 3 months time.
Hugh Jackman. I want to look like Hugh Jackman in 3 months.
Yeah. Or like it might
Wolverine.
be. Yeah. Or their goal might be to do, they can't do a bodyweight pull-up. They want to do 5 bodyweight pull-ups. And they're like, I want to do that in 3 months. Just like make that goal 2 years.
Yeah.
Just make it longer. If you get there, like.
Or even just start with 1.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
1 pull-up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I feel like once you hit that 1 pull-up, bang, like you're there. You've got 2, 3 the next week.
Yeah.
Like it's just getting over that barrier and that like understanding how your body works and how it connects together. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you can do 1 pull-up, you just keep doing 1 pull-up. It's great.
100%.
You just got to, every time you see a pull-up bar, you got to grab it and lift your chin over it.
Yeah.
You can't multiply by 0. You can multiply by 1 and then 2 and 3 and 4. Once you got 1, your feet are on the ground. You're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as a female, I guess, females do have a harder time getting these like body weight, like, because you have new people like, I take the fundamentals for new people, and you have males that have never trained a day in their life,
And they can
do a pull-up. Very rarely.
They can do a muscle up.
I don't think I've ever seen a female who's never done any training do a pull-up ever.
Yeah.
Like I would like
Yeah.
if you're untrained, you're naturally not going to have that ability to do a pull-up. Whereas some males do. If they're, some males can just rip 10 pull-ups and never done any training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean,
Why is that?
hormones,
Physiology. Yeah. Hormones,
physiology, yeah.
Yep.
And like potentially, there's more males in physical jobs or physical work. Like, if you're a tradie, you're doing quite a bit of physical labor, and you've got the hormones to support you.
Yeah.
And then you just rip 10 pull-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah. So like for females, like you've probably, to do a pull-up, you're gonna have to train for it.
100%. Yeah.
Why is it hard to watch? Genuinely.
I feel like it's so hard to get. I wouldn't say it's super hard to get strong as a female, but I feel like it takes so much work to be able to lift or move weight if you're comparing yourself to a male as a female. But then again, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to anyone. You should only be comparing yourself to you. So that's my first mistake. But it's interesting. I just think like I know how hard, because I work with a lot of females, I know how hard it is, like the amount of effort that my girls have to put in, or even myself that I've had to put into training, and then it's just like a guy walks in and they can just do a muscle up when they've never done any kind of gymnastics or whatever. I'm just like, damn it.
It's like you put in
testosterone in my body.
Right. It's like you put in so much work, and it's like, you say you're up to 5 pull-ups, and then you have that guy that walks in, hasn't trained a day in his life, and he hits 10. Yeah.
Sometimes it's the whole argument is like women are the weaker sex. And I feel like sometimes to an extent it's true in a manner. And do I want to say that, or am I going to get like backlash saying that?
Well, I think across the
But
top, across the top performers, women are weaker. But there's a lot of women out there that, are, especially nowadays, that are actually strong as, if not stronger than men.
Yeah, but there's layers at the end
Genetics.
of the day. It's like the yin and yang. It's like I feel like women, we are stronger and we have capabilities beyond what men do, and like vice versa. It's just like it's that complement. Like we complement each other. I just don't always want to see it in a gym, but that was a joke. But yeah, it's good. It's great.
Yeah, 100%.
I think strong women are much more impressive than a strong guy, because you know what I mean.
Know how hard they had to work to get there. Yeah,
it's more impressive. That's why I like the women CrossFit athletes are so impressive, because you watching what they do, and they're putting me to shame. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tia Claire's to me pregnant. And like that's just mind-boggling. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it really is. Yeah, no, some of the shit that women CrossFit is doing, especially like for some reason the weightlifting numbers, just again maybe because it's so measurable, and like how long it takes to develop strength, and you just see Danny Spiegel throw up 100 kilo snatch, and you're like, oh shit,
I love her.
Damn, like. You're like, man, like that is some fitness right there. That is some strength. Jesus, there's like a lot of guys that have been training for a long time to be able to do that, and they can't. So I think there's there's a lot of females out there that are actually can push the limits, and like I think there's that stigma of like, oh, I'm in the past, it's actually improving nowadays that I'm a female, I'm not going to be as strong as males, and like there's an element of that which is true, which we're sort of talking about here, which is like, generally probably if you get like a male and a female on the same training program, and they train as hard as each other, and they're as consistent as each other, and they both eat as well as each other, genetically the male is going to have an advantage, and we're probably going to see that male do better or become fitter and stronger. But like as soon as like if the female is more disciplined, if she shows up and is more consistent, if she works harder, 100%, like after a year of both those guys training where he slacked off a few times or like a few times a week and she didn't, 100% she'll be on like the front foot of this bloke. Like, you know, if for that example, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think women out there, like, get in the gym and like prove all those blokes wrong, because yeah, you can do some cool shit, like 100%.
So you work with a lot of females, Rach?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they have more unique challenges than males face. Like when it, you know, they've got their hormonal cycle and whatnot, and like how do you? Obviously things are harder for them. Like usually, like, you know, even if it comes to weight loss, you'll find that like a male probably has an easier time losing weight than a female. A male has an easier time putting on muscle mass than a female. So like, how do you keep, I guess, your female, or is there any unique strategies you use with your female clients to reach their goals?
Yeah. So I think specifically in like the last 2 years, and I think it's definitely, I find that you attract the kind of energy that you put out. So I feel like I attract girls who are probably not so confident or new to the gym, and they see, like, you know, they see me lifting heavy weights, and they're like, I want to be strong. I want to feel more confident or independent and that sort of stuff. So I feel like a lot of the clients that I attract are girls who are already trying to head into that direction anyway. So the way that, and you know, all like everyone I feel that starts coming to the gym, like, yes, maybe some people are looking at hitting some performance goals, but generally they want to feel better. They want to look better. You know, they just want to be able to take their clothes off and be like, fuck yeah, I look good. Like that's, I feel like that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, 100%.
So I, like, when I talk to my girls, I'm like, yeah, cool. Like we've got some physique goals. We want to maybe fit into this. We want to fit into that. But like, what do you want to achieve? What weights do you want to lift? What do you want to get better at? Do you want to get a better squat? Do you want to be able to do a pull up? And then without them realizing, the program becomes about like those performance goals.
Yeah.
And sorry, you were going to say.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's important too, because you need to almost fall in love with the process if you're ever going to look like, everyone wants to look like an athlete, right?
Yeah.
The athlete isn't there. Their goal isn't to try to look as good as possible.
Yeah.
They're worried about their performance. They're worried about, you know, like running faster, jumping high, whatever it might be, whatever sport they compete in.
Yeah.
And as a result of those things, they look like that.
Yeah.
So like people who are just, I just train because I want to look good, probably not going to get there because they never fall in love with the process of getting there. And the changes that your body makes, like, they happen slowly. They're so hard to measure. It can be really like demoralizing for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's why people, like, I guess also like people who train like a bodybuilder at the gym, and they're looking at themselves in the mirror and they're like, I still look the same.
Yeah.
But like it takes ages to change your like your body composition.
Oh, it does.
Like, you know, like to change how you look.
Like 10 years.
Whereas like you can get, you know, something that motivates you. I got better at that thing. I got better at the thing. Keep getting better at that thing, and then all of a sudden you look like that person you want to look like.
Exactly. No, that's so true, and that's why I feel like the process that people put out there is so backwards, because, like, as you said, you can't be like, athletes only look the way that they do because all they care about is getting an extra second on, you know, that run, or like an extra kilo on that lift. Like, they only look like that because they train day in, day out. Like, they dedicate their life to that. So you can't try and like reverse the process and be like, I want to look like that, but I'm not willing to put in literally blood, sweat, and tears to look like that. Like, it's backwards. And that's why I make, you know, our programs, or I make everything about, you know, how much weight you lifted, or, you know, like how much you were running this week, or like that sort of stuff.
Performance goals. And then all of a sudden they're messaging me or sending me videos showing me their squat form, or talking about how much weight they lifted, or like, oh my God, I was like the only girl in the gym, but I was like benching more than the guys. Like, and like all the guys are looking at me being like, what? Like that sort of stuff. Like that's all they start to care about.
Yeah.
And it becomes less about like half my girls have like thrown their scales out. Like they don't even weigh themselves anymore. Like they actually don't really give a fuck about how much they weigh.
Right.
Some of my girls are like asking me before, like, you know, it's 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks and they're like, Rachel, I'm hungrier this week. I want to up my calories. And I'm like, fuck yes, you do. You want to eat more. That's awesome. Like, and that for me is so empowering. Like they don't care about being this stick thin, like I don't even know what you call it, like this desired body type that we think that everyone's going for. They just care about how they're performing in the gym, how happy they feel. And if anything, I feel like if you're hyper focused, and I've seen this with my clients as well, because like I'm not gonna lie, like not all my clients are like that. I've not even been like that before. I still have my days where I'm like, oh my God, I hate how I look today. But if you focus solely on just the physical, like the superficial, like your physique, I feel like you end up you end up worse off.
Definitely.
You might in fact actually look better, but it's like the better you look, you feel like the worse you look. And I feel like we've all been down rabbit holes like that. Like I have, like I was actually, I was getting a bit emotional a couple of nights ago because I was looking back at myself just before I started CrossFit. There was like a little training file on my Instagram. And I was like 10 kilos lighter than I am now. And I remember looking at these videos, and even when I was posting them, I was like, oh, I don't want to post this because I feel like I look fat. And I was 10 kilos less than I am now.
Oh,
so
right.
I was little skinny mini. And for some reason I thought I looked fat. And if anything, that's probably this one of like the skinniest or the smallest I've ever been. And I don't wish myself to look like that now, because, well, I'm like, well, I'm not as strong. I didn't lift as much. I definitely wasn't eating as much. And I felt worse then than I do now, which is crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I actually got really emotional, and I wasn't crying, but I was almost crying because I was like, the things that we put ourselves through for the acceptance of others, or how we think we should feel and look, and what society expects of us is, yeah, just terrible. And that's why, like, when girls come to me, I'm like, no, I'm going to make sure that this is a good experience for you, and you're going to be able to maintain this, and you're going to be able to keep doing this for the rest of your life, and it's going to make you feel confident, and you will feel powerful, and you won't have to feel like you need to rely on other people to give you that validation. Like you can give it to yourself. So yeah, there we go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it is awesome too. Yeah.
I mean, if you can like, you know, you've got the people that you interact with, that you've, you know, touched their lives, and if like you can just, for every person that you like make fall in love with the gym, and make like gives you sort of like a purpose, that gives them a purpose in life, they probably feel more, you know, confident.
Yeah.
They probably feel like you've got something to work towards that's not just, you know, your corporate life or your family. You've got like a goal and a purpose, and it gives you something that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning, I guess. So, because for a lot of people, they don't have that purpose and they don't know what to do with themselves. So I think that is like such an important thing. All the psychological benefits that training provides, is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I would be like, I don't know what I'd do without the training side of things, or if I didn't have a passion or a hobby that was like sort of lighting my life up. Like I just keep chasing the things I'm chasing because, you know, I get so much intrinsic motivation out of it. Like, and I know when I stop on those things, and all those things aren't going well, I'm sort of like I had a patch like last year, like where I thought about quitting, like you know, competing as an athlete, and like I'm like, I just want to enjoy this process a bit more, and I made a few big changes, and like I just, yeah, like to not have something that, like, you know, you're really working on and driving towards, like it for me, like, yeah, it's a part of, I mean, I value growth, so yeah, it's one of the things that makes me happy, and yeah, is I don't know how people would do it without doing that. And I know people are, you know, growing different things, like they're pushing their career and they're pushing perhaps, you know, growing, you know, a family and things, but something you do for, you know, yourself, because when you push your career, like it is to support, you know, what's going on for you, just yourself financially, so you can get by, and so you know, you can live a happy life and not just have to stress about money, and you know, so you can just support your family. But it's like what are you actually doing to make you happy? Is it just getting on the beers on the weekend? Is that all you're doing? Because it's like, you know, there's so much more out there for you. Like for me, I'm like, all I did was just do CrossFit for like the past however long, and I'm like gotten to this realization of like, what are your hobbies? I'm like outside of like, because I'm like at the moment, like you just do CrossFit, like that's all you do. So I'm like, fuck it. I love chess. I'm going to double down on chess. I'm like, and I love it. I've been playing it every day. We had a chess night, like the boy we've been talking about, made a few more close relationships like around me with the boys, just because I'm like wanted to do this new hobby. So, but yeah, no, I completely hear what you're saying, Russ, and agree with you. Yeah. Yeah, so I suppose it's probably a good moment to ask you this question, but I know that we've talked a bit about vulnerability, and I actually listened to Brene Brown's book, Power of Vulnerability, because you recommended it to me. I thought it was really good, and because this stuff that we're talking about, you know, it requires a level of vulnerability. Like,
yeah.
what do you actually want to do? What are your goals? Like, if I, you know, I don't want to set myself up for failure by putting something out there, and so, you know, I know you're passionate about that, and I'd just like to hear why you're passionate about that, and yeah, how that can help people.
Being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Um,
You got to be vulnerable to answer this
yeah,
question, don't
gotta
you?
be very vulnerable to answer this question.
What does vulnerability mean to you?
Oh,
Doesn't have to be the textbook
yeah,
definition, but yeah.
I'm just trying. Being vulnerable, just opening yourself up to discomfort, criticism, so you can grow and progress, or just being vulnerable and open with how you really feel, and stepping out of your comfort zone. Actually, you know, if you want something in life, like ask for it or take the steps towards it instead of just staying in that safe zone.
Hiding it.
Yeah, but being vulnerable, like simple enough in the gym. For example, double unders. Yeah, they kill me. um, Practicing double unders in front of 10 people after class when I can't do them, or I'm only just starting to get them, and doing that in front of people, that's a vulnerable thing for me. Like coaching as a new CrossFit coach in front of 20 people, when like my first session, when I think it was with you, and I think, who was it with? I can't remember, but I think I had to take a snatch warm up for the first time, and it's like, well, I've done this with like one-on-one with a client, and you know, I've had enough practice doing this before, but put 20 people in front of me who snatch, you know, once a week for the last 2 years, and I'm teaching them a snatch warm up. I feel very outside of my comfort zone, and this is a very vulnerable position for me to be in, and I actually don't want to be here. I feel really uncomfortable right now. But the only way I'm going to get good at it is by doing it, and doing it in front of people. So it's just like those little things, like doing the things that you're not good at in front of people, and, you know, willing to be embarrassed or muck up, and take that as like a lesson. Like, okay, I didn't do this well here. Now I've got to keep doing it, keep being shit at it, keep embarrassing myself, but eventually I'm going to get good at it. Like that's an example of vulnerability, I think. Just going head on into the things that you don't want to do, confronting your demons, your like the shit you need to work on, like personal stuff. That's being vulnerable. And yeah, Brené Brown's The Power of Vulnerability, I would recommend everyone read it, listen to it. It changed my perspective. I would even say it's almost like changed my life, the direction of my life. We're all creatures of habit. We all are going to want to go towards the things that we're good at, stay in that comfort zone, because it's safe and it feels good. But yeah, stepping out of that comfort zone and having those conversations with yourself, seeing a psychologist, like doing things you're not good at. yeah, that's what I wanted to start doing. I felt like I hadn't been doing enough of it, or I was always willing to kind of stay in that comfort zone. But I just felt like I wasn't living. There wasn't like that zest or that like um just that
Passion in life.
that
Zest.
it had died down a little bit, and I realized that I was holding a lot of things in, and I wasn't confronting a lot of things. So yeah, that's what got me into Brené Brown and being vulnerable. And yeah, I do talk a lot about it. I have spoken to you a lot about it. And yeah, I just encourage everyone to be more vulnerable.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Rach. I think you actually put that really well. And yeah, I could see like, yeah, took you to a deep place when you're just speaking about that. And you mentioned about the demons in training, and you know, we're all trying to make one demon stronger than the rest. Yeah, and I think it's important. Like you gotta like, you know, address those demons and face them. And you know, when you say demons, what do you mean by that? Like,
like just even personal things, like, you know, like your bad habits. Like for example, I'm a notorious people pleaser.
right.
So it's just like saying, like, getting comfortable saying no.
Yeah, I can be too.
Yeah. Or even things like if you're in a group of, say you're with like 5 of your mates, and one of your mates says something and you don't agree with that, and it's like actually being like, oh no, actually I don't agree with that. Like let's discuss that further.
Yeah.
Or something as simple as like that seminar we went to on the weekend, the strength culture, heavies want to run. Something like putting your hand up in front of 20 people and asking a question, and you don't know, like maybe this could be a really dumb question.
Yeah.
Or maybe they've already spoken about this topic and you're going to feel like a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
Like that is vulnerability.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. There's moments where I was like, oh, do I need to ask that question? But and then I sort of like, I don't know. I have this discussion in my head, and I'm like, oh, should I, like, is that a question worth asking? Should I don't want to interrupt the flow of the group. And
Yeah.
there was one person that just had no shame.
Yeah,
It was just
that was
like,
very
actually, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. And I'm like, yeah.
Just trying to debunk the whole method that they're putting out.
She
like,
was really just disagreeing flat out with everything that they were saying. Like,
10
just
minutes in, I was like, whoa.
yeah, I was like, okay, all right, cool.
We're here to play devil's advocate.
So a bit of context, like you both went to a seminar on the weekend run by Melbourne Strength Culture, which was, the topic was
heavies want to run.
Yeah, so it was conditioning for powerlifters, basically. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And thoughts?
Oh, like I loved it.
It was awesome.
If like honestly, I think that
It's so good.
CrossFitters, like
CrossFitters want to run.
Not me.
It was just like these principles are awesome, and like they went into a lot of things, and I definitely learned a lot and took away many things. But I just feel like CrossFit is fantastic for that notion anyway. Like we already do a lot of that sort of stuff. So it's not like a new concept in my mind. It's just I walked away with like, oh, this is like periodization, programming, like the macro micro cycles, all that sort of stuff. Like it was great.
Training principles.
But it's like, this is why everyone should do CrossFit.
Yeah.
And what, was there any like real nuggets or any real gems that you thought that, oh, you're like, oh, that's like, did you like in your mind note that down? Like,
100%. Yeah, 100%. Stacked position when you're running, like spinal position when you're running. Yeah, and that we just
position.
Yeah, recovery position. Yeah, that the diaphragm actually functions better when the ribs are in a flexed position. So yeah, the more flex the ribs get, aka like when you're bent over or like thoracic flexion, the better the diaphragm functions. Whereas like the notion or the stigma is that people are like, oh, you're breathing hard, get your chest up, get your hands over your head, like whereas that's actually not the case. And like people want to run and they're like, get your chest up, when really that's putting you in a position that from a biomechanical lens isn't actually as more efficient as what you could be in terms of breathing mechanics.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a
That was
definitely
fantastic.
gym.
What happens naturally, like when you get tired, right? You like almost curl over.
Yeah.
Like, you know, right?
Yeah.
You put your hands on your knees, you curl over.
Exactly.
Like you don't naturally go, I'm going to stand up and arch my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like our natural reflexes are probably, you know,
They know what they're doing.
The body knows what it's doing and it knows how to recover.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, it does. The body does.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
autonomous. Yeah, the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I even asked that question. I'm like, well, I've just, I'm like sort of having an internal battle right now because my whole life I've been told this, and you guys are saying this, and so what do you guys think of that? And we sort of stemmed a discussion of like, I think like when you're fatigued, it's like if you're in a boxing match, it's like you're fatigued, and your opponent sees you, hands on the knees, puff, breathing, you're dead, you're gone. They're like, oh yeah, they feel more confident. So it's like a mental edge. Same as like you're on the footy field. If you're like got a footy team, everyone's hands on knees,
Yeah.
and one team's not. The other team has their hands on their head. Obviously, the people that have their hands on their head are more upright position. Like they look more ready to go, and they're gonna get that mental edge over the team that is now really fatigued. But it's like, I don't know. You could just find your moments to have a quick like. Was in the gym yesterday, hit this 30-minute EMOM, and I was like in my rest station. I would just put my hands on my knees, do like five like real big breaths, and then I would stand upright and go. And like I felt that like pretty good. So just doing like a quick recovery and then like moving on to the next station. But that would definitely be one of the gems I would say. What about you, Rach? Was there a takeaway you had?
Nail on the head for that one. That was like you had pin drops and that.
What else? What else are we talking about? RPE and the quad.
RPE,
extension.
like zone 2 is just like how, just simple things like, and I feel like Russ bangs on about this all the time, but getting more zone 2 work in, how that's actually going to make you fitter. And even simple things like programming for people who want to run but can't deal with that impact first up, just like periodizing a program so you can build them up to faster, longer runs, that sort of stuff. Like I feel like that's a bit of a no-brainer, but it's just like they really broke it down so it was easy to understand and program. I really like.
So, but I think that's a no-brainer for us. But I think there's so many people that are like, oh yeah, I'm just getting back into running. I'm
10K.
just gonna go for a quick 5K.
Yeah.
And it's like, mate, you haven't ran for 5 years. Like you're 20 kilos heavier than what you were when you used to run, and it's like people don't understand that. It's like there's probably a better process as to what that is. So
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
I think running is one of those things that people think that because it's such a natural thing, they don't need to think or don't need to practice their technique. Like, when you come to the gym for the first time, you don't just jump under a bar, start squatting. You get taught how to do it correctly. Someone's telling you how to do it. Whereas people just go for a run and they have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
So, and a lot of people's like, if you haven't done it in so many years, your gait's not going to be correct. And then you end up running into it. You can very easily injure yourself running. There's a lot of impact.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
So like all those, I remember my uncle actually did this a few years ago. He got him, he was getting back into fitness. He joined a running club and he was really enjoying it. And he ended up tearing his meniscus after a couple of months because obviously he just probably wasn't running correctly and just hadn't run in, probably 10 to 20 years and then thought, oh, I need to start getting fit. I'm going to join this running club. So, I mean, yeah, like anything, you can't just dive head in. You've got to slowly build your way up.
Yeah, understanding that running is essentially like training in the gym. It's like progressive overload. Like progressive overload matters, and not trying to go from a 5K to a 10K like the following week, building it up slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so what would your advice be for people that want to get back into running?
Be smart.
Like in terms of progressive overload, like what would their first session look like?
Yeah, so maybe some like intervals. So maybe 400-meter run, 200 meters walk. Do that for 5
a shorter
rounds.
amount of volume distance to begin. Yeah.
And then take a rest, take 2 days off. See how your calves feel, how your hips feel. Roll it out. Make sure that you're stretching, you're doing all of that sort of stuff. And then just up it a little bit. maybe do maybe do something like that again. Maybe do it for 6 rounds. Maybe go for a 3K run, like a slower paced run. Just build it up slowly. Be smart about it. Don't try and hit, 5, then 7, then like crazy numbers, and just know that running. I feel like I'm not going to say it's like easy, but it's going to be easy to progress. Like you're going to get fitter quicker. You're going to like your energy output is going to be, it's going to be pretty up there. So getting fitter, losing that bit of weight, your running's going to get pretty good pretty fast.
Yeah.
But just don't be a bull out of the gate like initially. Just have patience for it. Yeah.
And I think people get excited about like starting a new running goal too. Like, so they're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to hit the ground running. Like that's where the saying comes from. It's like, yeah, but it's like, yeah, hit the ground running, but just like for a shorter distance. And again, like, just like, self-analyze how your body is feeling as you're going through. And it's like, change your approach if you're starting to feel some joint pain instead of just like running through it. And, just progressively overload, like Rachel's saying. Yeah, I think it's great advice.
I mean, running is like the simplest form of exercise, right?
Yeah.
So
cheapest, simplest.
Probably the best running program is you just go.
So accessible.
Yeah. Any sort of a fartlek training is good, where you just basically you go for a walk, you start walking, you pick something in the distance, pick a mailbox in the distance, you run to that mailbox as hard as you can, and then you walk until you feel like you're ready again, and then you pick something else in the distance and you run again, and it's just, you're doing intervals, but they're not structured. You just
go on by feel.
You just go by feel.
Yeah.
And like, if you keep doing that, you'll probably get better at it. And then the other thing is like, people, I guess they get into running, and like, what's your goal? Is your goal to run a marathon, and do you need to get more running volume, or is your goal just to be like healthy and fit? And like, you probably don't need to run for 2 hours to be healthy and fit.
Yeah.
Like, you probably should just be running for 20 minutes and trying to get a bit faster every time versus trying to run for longer, because you're just teaching yourself, like, if you want to, especially for body composition, like you're teaching your body to preserve energy, and almost you want to do the opposite. If you want to, improve your body composition, you want your body to be like a V8 engine. You want it to burn fuel. So that way, like, instead of you being out there for, if you're getting more efficient at conserving energy, you're going to hold on to, you're not going to, eat your meal and burn through it. That's why like weight training and high intensity exercise is important for body composition, because it teaches you to burn fuel, teaches your body to burn fuel, not to be efficient with it.
Exactly.
So but I think, because running isn't necessarily the best thing for, like, going for long runs isn't the best thing for your body composition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why C-Bum isn't doing, 20K runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Chris Bums at Mr. Olympia isn't doing 20K runs. He's in the gym and he's eating a shitload of protein and he's
lifting
weight training.
Weights, yeah.
He's doing hypertrophy training. So yeah, and that's I mean, the more muscle you're trying to put on the more muscle you put on, the better you're aesthetically going to look, probably, if that's the look you're going for. But yeah, that's generally what people want to do. So they want to look leaner and stronger. If you want to look like a runner, then look at distance runners, look at like sprinters, a little bit different. But again, like they're like max force production, fast twitch muscle fibers. Like they're probably doing some sort of power training program, and that's why they look the way they do. Like Usain Bolt is shredded, and then and then just their genetics in general, they're like bloody, it's like steroids almost. Like I feel like I'm trying not to be racist, but like African American people, like you see a lot of people that are naturally like have a lot of muscle mass, and you do for like a lot of people across the board, but yeah, specifically like some of those guys like out there are just like absolutely jacked. But yeah, if you want to look like a runner, then or just distance run. But I suppose that moves us. We'll move on to our next question for you, Rach, and that's for I would say my next question for you is like what continues to drive you down this journey of training and coaching, and what keeps you coming back for it?
I just love empowering people or making people feel good. Watching people succeed, watching how happy it makes people. I mean, sometimes people coming to the gym, that's probably like the best hour of their day, and just knowing that we can have a positive impact and make them happy, keep them healthy. I just feel like that's what keeps me coming back, keeps me doing what I'm doing. Sometimes we get, I'm sure you guys have got it before, like you just have a session with a client, and sometimes it happens, you have a session with a client, you might have a bit of a D&M with them, or maybe you just train them, and without even realizing, you get a message like 2 hours later, and they'll just thank you. They're like, I really needed that today. Like, I'm so happy with how I'm doing. Like, thank you for everything that you do. And you're just like, I don't even know what I did, but like, that's just the impact that I can have on people. And I just feel like being a personal trainer or being a coach, or the industry that I'm in, I feel like I do belong here, because I have had, and I do have that impact on people, and it makes me feel good. But it's just like, I got into the industry, or like I decided to be a personal trainer because I realized just how much of an impact PTs can have on people's lives. And I kind of get to pay that forward every day. And yeah, that's what keeps me coming back. And, we like these guys, young people, like the young guys that we have in here, they're going to hopefully, like when they have kids, they're going to be able to pass all of this on to their kids, and we're going to have a happier, healthier world. I hope so. I feel like fitness and health is becoming a bit more of a priority now, which is good. But yeah, I want people to be happier and healthier, and because the happier and healthier they are, the happier and healthier we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to women starting in the gym, just in general?
This is a tough one. Do it. Get into the gym. Start training. Don't worry about, your weight. Start strength training. Hit more performance goals than weight loss goals, because your body composition, that will go hand in hand with what you're doing in the gym. And that's just for longevity as well. So stop focusing on just those, those smaller 3-month goals. Like, actually train for, think about, I'm training to look like this in a year or 2 years, instead of just focusing on those little 8-week challenges or 3-month challenges, because I guarantee you they 100% will leave you worse off than what you have started with when you come into the gym.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a difference between like a male's perspective on the whole scales and weighing themselves, and opposed to ladies, and I'm just wondering your thoughts around that, and what you think of that. I know you mentioned before, you a lot of my clients ditch the scales. What does that mean to you?
Wait, so difference between males and females and scales?
Yeah. Do you feel like ladies value that more, or is it more of an issue for ladies, with the scales and just measuring their weight and things like that? What is around that? What's going on there?
I personally, I feel that you'll tend to find that women, they want to weigh less on the scales, and men, they want to weigh more on the scales. And I feel like that comes from, the society standards, what we grow up with. Women are supposed to be smaller. Women, we have smaller clothes. We want to be under 60 kilos, or we want to be size 6s and size 8s. Whereas men, they want to be bigger, and they want to have bigger muscles, and they want to be strong, and they it's kind of like that. Almost like that power imbalance, I feel, that we're always striving for. Women, we tend to, and I think it's a biological thing as well. We want a stronger, bigger guy, and guys want to be able to be the what do you call it? The hunter gatherer, the caretaker, that sort of stuff. I feel like that's innate, in a sense, but
Like it's genetic.
Yeah,
Like it's
not necessarily genetics. Like I feel like guys are going to, you know, tend to be bigger than girls anyway, genetically.
Mhm.
But it's just this natural occurrence that we want. Like I know, for example, you know, being single for a year and a half, like, yeah, 100% I'm gonna hone in more on like a bigger guy or a guy with more muscles or a guy that's taller than me. Like that's just, I feel like in my head that's what I'm going for.
Mhm.
But it's just like as
Like a
women,
lot more females find that attractive.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like if we're just going off physical, like looks.
Yeah.
But in my experience, trying to be as small as possible and trying to get yourself down, like I have achieved, you know, that like that under like 59 kilos or 57 kilos and eating as little as possible and getting to that like size 8, like that dress size. And let me tell you, it was the fucking worst I've ever felt in my life. Like I hated it. I remember stepping on the scales and seeing like that 58.7 and just looking at it and feeling for like a split second like this tiny little spark inside me. I was like, oh my God, I made it. And then I was just like, why do I still feel shit? Why do I hate myself more than I've ever hated myself before?
Right.
Like, and at that point, I wasn't even hungry. I just completely lost my appetite. So like I wasn't eating at all. I was probably in like the worst depressed state of my life. And I'd look in the mirror and I was like, I fucking hate how I look.
Yeah.
Like it just did not feel good. And that was because I was purely, you know, like my self-worth was based on my appearance and what guys thought of me. And, you know, oh, I finally reached like that stock standard, society standard of what a woman should be. And it is like the most powerless feeling in the world.
Mhm.
Like you have no control or like your body is not yours. So when I like probably about a year and a bit ago, year and a half ago, when I like broke up with my long-term partner, I felt like for a very long time I was trying to fit that mold of I need to be smaller than my partner and like I need to like I want him to be bigger than me and want him to like all this sort of stuff because that's like what we've grown up with. And then once we'd broken up and I didn't really have anyone to compare myself to. I was my own self, my own entity, and I just trained and I just blew the ceiling off like my training and my lifts and my confidence and like how powerful I felt. And that's to me, that's the best. Like don't put yourself in a basket. Don't put yourself in the basket that society wants you to be put in because like there's nothing to life if you're going to try and fit this mold that we're all trying to fit in. Like there's
Mhm.
you're not going to be not to say that you're going to be more or you're going to be less interesting than the next person, but it's not a way to live if we're just trying to constantly be the same person.
Mhm.
Like
Like we're all trying to be the same as each other.
yeah, like
and everything's just grey instead of colourful.
you're not going to feel fulfilled if you're just trying to meet someone else's expectations. It is not fulfilling. And like, take that from me as a person who's probably tried to do that their whole life. I can guarantee both of you have also tried to do that at some point in your life.
And I'm still doing it in multiple
100%.
facets of my life, like,
Yeah,
and that I'm
100%.
like working on and trying to move out of, or like,
yeah. And like, you don't feel good. Like when you achieve that, when you're like, oh my God, I'm exactly like this person. And then you're like, what now? Like this doesn't feel like there's no spark and like, oh my God, I feel great. I feel empowered because it's not you. So you are not empowering yourself.
Mm.
And it's like this, like the same with guys, just, you know, on a different level. It's like, so, I don't know, just be yourself. Just decide what you want to do. Like if you have a goal, then just go for that. Stop trying to do what all the other guys are doing or like whatever. It's you versus you in this world. That's I feel like that's the best piece of advice I could give, and especially for women. Just your true power comes from being you, not from trying to be I don't know, Kim Kardashian or whoever we're trying to be like these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, like the big lips, big ass, like the
Well, not even now. She's like
arch
she's
flow back.
taken her implants out now. Like she's gone for the whole heroin chic vibe.
The
like,
what? The what? What is it? Hair on cheek.
Heroin.
Oh, heroin
Yeah.
cheek.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
with
yeah.
this like the
Yeah,
like the
the
sucked
skinny-
cheeks. Yeah,
like
the suction
yeah,
cheeks.
like that's all coming back now, and it's just like that's like a killer because I'm like, oh my god, no.
It is crazy what people do to fit in. It's and
Yeah.
what's crazy what people do to just fit this mold of like whatever the top influencers are doing. It's like
Yeah.
and how quick it can change. Oh, Kim K doesn't have a big ass anymore. Oh, I'm not training. I don't need to go to the gym anymore. I don't need to train glutes. Like, oh, she's getting her lips injected. Yeah, I'll get my lips injected. Like, we're done. Like,
Yeah.
you know, or like, but like, you know, I mean that like we'll do the same. Like, I'm like, oh, what are the top CrossFitters like wearing? What clothes are they wearing? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, well, I'll wear those clothes. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt Fraser's in Metcons. Oh, well, I'll give that. Like, I'll do that. Like, you know, whatever it happens to be, whatever. Like, there's people out there doing. It's like, you know, I like your message in the way that you're like, just find your individual path, and that might happen to be in line with what some of the top influeers are doing as well.
100%.
You know, it's not just like, oh, how individual can I be and how different can I be? Like, that's not the goal. Like, the goal is to like be like, hold on, what do I actually want? And it's like sometimes you're gonna have to try some shit and do some different shit that at a later date you might realize that, oh no, that actually wasn't me.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I had to try that and to realize that it wasn't, or it wasn't as deep into that direction as I thought it was.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm like, you know, and then you bring it back to a level that, you know, sort of suits you. But yeah, I think when I feel like I'm being true to my authentic self and my individual self, like that's when I'm the happiest for
When
sure.
you're winning and you feel on top of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's a powerful message. 100%. But yeah, people will like, do you know those people that just go so far in the other direction? They're just like, I feel like it's the like, you know, people that just do crazy stuff. Like they'll like, I don't know, they'll dye their hair like crazy colors, or like, not that that's too crazy, but like, I'm just trying to think of very eccentric stuff. Yeah. No, I can't think of any examples right now, but like people just go in a wild direction, whereas it's like, I think it's cool because it shows us what like, it's like makes me feel more confident, maybe, you know, make changes or wear it. Like I remember when I was like 18 and like I had to wear like a button-up shirt for the first time, and that might not seem like a big deal, but I was like, oh, wear a button-up shirt. I've got to wear these like going out like boat shoes. Like, do I want to wear boat shoes? I don't know. That's sort of, I don't know how I feel about boat shoes. Should I wear those? All right, I'll give them a go. I'll wear the boat shoes. You go out, you're wearing the boat shoes. You've forgotten about it. You just boogie in. You have a good night. Get home. The boat shoes go off. You're like, huh. The boat shoes weren't as big of a deal as I thought.
Oh man, you overanalyze like a lot of things.
Yeah, but like I think everyone does, and it's like Russ. Like why do you wear those shoes?
I don't know. I've got them. They're comfy.
Yeah, but when did you buy them?
Oh, last year at Torrey.
At Torian. Why did you buy them?
Because I need some new nanos, and I like nanos.
Nanos. Why do you like nanos?
They're the best. They're the best, most comfortable training shoe I've ever used before.
You sound like Rich Froning over
I love nanos. I reckon nanos are.
I do love nanos.
I'm also like one of those people. Like once I like something, I just keep going back for that same something. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll just eat the same.
Yeah,
like
if it ain't broke,
that same
Wait,
thing.
the same weeks in a row.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But I guess what you're saying is like people get insecure about the stupidest things, right?
Oh,
like just like everyone's got their own insecurities that they're trying to work through. But like, guarantee you're the only person that really cares about it.
Yeah.
Nobody else does.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, and I guess the scales nowadays, I feel like there's very, very little positive, like, reinforcement that comes from the scales. Like, why are you weighing yourself in the first place? Is it because you are insecure about your weight? Like, and then when that number doesn't say what you think it should say, is that going to make you feel bad? Then why are you doing this? Why are you even weighing yourself in the first place?
Yeah.
Just chuck them out. You don't need to.
Exactly.
I can't even remember the last time I weighed myself, but every time I weigh myself, I get surprised, like, oh, I'm heavier than I thought I was. But it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm like, maybe it is you know,
You're like,
occasionally,
a number.
yeah, it's just a number.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, and females probably value that number more than males. So like, don't let that define you. That number, just it's a number.
Yeah.
Like if you know, people should be worrying about, like, well, not worrying, but you know, people should be training to look good in the mirror and not worrying about what a number says on the scales anyway. So like you said, like you were 10 kilos lighter once upon a time, but you weren't happy. You know, if you're happy, then that's the most important thing, right? Happy and healthy is better than like some superficial look that isn't going to bring you anything.
Very true.
I feel like yeah, I agree with a lot of what Russ said, and yeah, but like for me, like whenever I look at the scales, like I do look at it as just a number, but like if I'm starting to get overweight and then like the number, well for me like personally like I like look at how lean I am. Like I'll look at myself in the mirror and go, okay, like am I happy with my body composition? I go, all right. Maybe I go, okay, okay, yeah, I think I'm lean enough, and usually it's to compete, like 'cause I'm, you know, just trying to be. I've got to keep my body fat down to be efficient as an athlete, and I'm like, all right, well, what weight am I when I'm like lean right now? It's like, okay, I'm 88 kilos, okay, and then I like do the season as 88 kilos, and then like I finish the season, and I'm like, all right, well, how did I compete? And I'm like, oh yeah, I mean the barbells are a bit heavy. Like, could I maybe put on some weight? And I'm like, all right, well, I'll try putting on some weight, and I'll try and get to a lean 90, and be 2 kilos heavier, and have, you know, two more kilos of muscle mass to try and push heavier loads. Because I mean, when you're heavier, you're going to be able to create more force, and or your ceiling is going to be increased for how fast you can increase your strength. So yeah, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I like that.
More performance based. Like it's just another like indicator. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a tool.
It's a tool, and I feel like that's how people should be using it. But it's also like, and I say this all the time to people, the scale is like 1%, like if that 1% of the whole picture. Like, and especially for females. I mean, I know when I'm getting my period, I can put up to, up to 3 kilos. And that is like just water weight and like retention and just fluid. And like your body will hold more like, water through that time. And then once that's done, it's like, okay, those 3 kilos are off.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're weighing yourself throughout your period, you already feel shit and you hate yourself, and like everything hurts, and like
hormones are different.
Hormones are going crazy.
Yeah.
You look at yourself in the mirror and you want to cry. Like girls will know what I mean. So it's like, why are you weighing yourself every day in your period?
Yeah, because you might like weigh yourself and you're 3 kilos heavy, and you're like, oh, I've got to change everything. Like I've got to change the plan. I'm messaging my nutrition coach. Like
also,
if you go on,
when you have period, like your metabolic rate actually goes up, so you need to actually eat more.
Yeah.
Try to tell a girl who's put on 3 kilos that she needs to eat more.
Oh, alarm bells are going off, I'd imagine.
So it's just like, and that's another thing. Like girls don't understand. It's like, okay, you are hungrier on your period, and when your body's telling you that you're hungry, it actually means you need to eat.
Yeah.
So stop going against those things that your body is telling you. Like you need to eat. You need to eat more. Like, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And then in a week's time, like those 3 kilos that you've put on that like no one notices but you. Like that won't be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's just like use the scale as a weight, not as a like this defines, you know, myself as a human being and how like worthy I am.
And using your average weight as well. It's like, what was my average weight over the month?
Yeah.
Like, okay, and then what was my average weight over the next month? And like, did that, you know, is my goal weight loss? Okay, it went down. All right, cool. And like, did it go down a healthy amount? Sweet. Like, yeah, but I understand how there's like a big emotional tie to the scale and to this number, and people can latch their identity to that and be like, and it can become a negative thing.
Would you say that women in general probably like do more harm for them because they're under eating a lot of the time, and they're going from restrictive diet to restrictive diet, and that is hurting their body's ability to function and their metabolism and all their hormones and whatnot, and that probably is causing more long-term damage for a lot of people than if they just satiated themselves and, focus on their performance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. It messes up your metabolism, and like there's research behind it. Like the more diets you're on, like the worse you're messing up your metabolism, and you're not going to be able to like recover very well. When you're getting into your 30s and 40s, when your metabolism actually does slow down, like it's going to be harder and harder for you to, you are going to start to gain weight, and it's going to be harder for your body to build muscle and maintain muscle. So if you're ruining your body now,
Yeah.
20 years later, oh man, you're in trouble.
You can pay for it.
Yeah. So like stop the dieting and like actually find something that you can enjoy that's going to push you mentally and physically, but you're going to enjoy it. And like, eat for performance. Like find a way to build a healthy relationship with your body and with food.
Mm-hmm.
Fitness industry has a lot to answer for with the whole distorted eating. But yeah, like it's just, food is fuel. We are supposed to eat food. We're supposed to have fun. We're supposed to enjoy food. Like sitting down, eating food together. That's a thing that we've done since day one.
Mm-hmm.
Adam and Eve, or whoever was here first.
Eating forbidden apples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting together.
Yeah.
And the snake came out, and I don't know.
The snake was there. I
Yeah.
don't know what the snake did. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, build a better relationship with yourself, with food. It's there for fuel. It's there to, food is to make your body look better.
Yeah. I mean, like probably, most people's experiences are like, all right, I'm going to go to the gym. And now I've got to eat better. So I've got to start eating less. I've got to cut down on my food. But okay, you've just increased your activity and then you've just reduced your energy intake at the same time. That doesn't make sense.
And that's why
like you need to eat now. You need to eat more. Now you're causing your body more stress.
Yeah.
You're actually burning more fuel. Eat more. Not like start CrossFit and eat less. Like you probably need to eat 10% more.
100%.
To fuel your recovery, to actually create, build muscle mass. And as a result of doing that, your metabolism will speed up over time, and then you'll start to look better.
Yeah.
But people are trying to get like the shortest path possible.
Yeah.
Eat less, train more, and then that just what that does is just makes you feel shit, burns you out.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And like, I feel like you don't have to count macros or count calories to know exactly what's going on. But I think like having done that before is like, it's just like a really good, like almost like a research task for yourself to realize like how much you actually should be eating. It's like, oh, this is exactly what I should eat in a day. Oh shit, like I had no idea that was how much food I should be eating, because some people's perception and of what they should eat would just be completely off the spectrum. And like some people are like, I ate healthy. Yeah, okay, well, what do you eat? You go, I woke up, no, I had coffee and lunchtime, no, I had salad and I had one can of tuna in it. And I was like, okay, it sounds pretty healthy, and dinner, I came home and just I don't know, made 2-minute noodles and bloody like had chicken and some whatever, and it's like, and like I've had conversations with people where it's like that's their answer, and it's like, to then go and count your calories and realize that like you miss breakfast, you're probably going to have to eat like food at breakfast. You might like to skip breakfast, but you're probably going to eat breakfast to hit your calories in your day. You're probably going to you're going to probably eat, double at lunch, and you're probably going to eat double at dinner. A lot of people do undereat, or undereat like during the whole day and come home and then eat in a massive surplus because they're starving.
Yeah.
Or do the same, like they don't eat, like they eat barely, like they don't eat much during the week, so their body is like habitually transformed in this hibernation mode, and then they go out in the weekend and then they absolutely just like chow. And it's like, I think just having counted calories before, I feel like it gives you that better understanding of like, no, like logically, this is actually the amount you should be eating. Oh, okay, now I understand.
Yeah, if you haven't counted calories before, like I don't think you need to count calories forever.
So educational.
Like it's just understanding how much energy is in different foods, because there's something that you thought, oh, that's good for me, but you're actually eating like a handful of nuts, and that's actually like 1,200 calories. You're eating a meal's worth of nuts,
Yeah.
or like, you know, or 2 meals worth of nuts
Yeah.
just from sitting there and snacking on nuts, thinking that they're healthy.
Yeah.
Like actually understanding how many, you know, calories are in everything, and then understanding, okay, you're meant to eat around this much. Just makes you make better conscious decisions about what you should be eating. Like subconsciously, even like you just start to go, oh, well, I won't eat that because that's going to be like, I may as well go eat this instead.
Yeah.
Or I won't drink that. I'll eat this instead.
Or I will eat the nuts, but I'll eat half
Yeah.
of what I would have eaten before. What do you think about counting, Rach?
I think it's a great tool. A lot of my clients count calories, but like they just have it there as like a guide. I like to focus a little bit more on macros, or like, okay, did you get your protein in today? Like if anything, it's more like I really hone in on like protein and like macros. But yeah, my clients, they use it as a tool, and again, it's just like something educational for them. And then, you know, they're making their own meals. They know how to get all their like healthy protein, carbs, and fats into their meals now. So yeah, I use it as an educational kind of thing. But people tend to be very scared of calories and counting calories because of that. It's typically used for, okay, you're on a 1,200 calorie diet, like that's all you're eating. So it can be quite triggering for some people. But the way that you're both talking about it is like spot on, like nail on the head. It is there just so you understand what your body needs, what to put into your body. And just understanding, like looking at, you know, if you eyeball something, you're like, oh, I know that has roughly like 300 calories in it. Or like you see like chicken and there's 125 grams of chicken, like, you know, like around about how much that is. So then like, because fuck me, like counting calories for the rest of your life, like no thanks.
Yeah, no.
Like I go through periods of where like, yeah, I am tracking my calories and I am like sticking to those macros. And then I also go through periods where like I don't, but I know like what my body needs, how much to get in. And it's just made my relationship with food a whole lot better. And it's also just helped me teach and like, well, educate my clients on, you need protein, you need carbohydrates, like you need fats. These are the healthy fats. This is what's going to nourish your body, but also staying away from that like good food, bad food, because, you know, like sometimes we want to go out on the weekend and have a burger, or we want to have ice cream. And like, that's fine. Like that's like, people should be able to do that. That's building a healthy relationship with food. So yeah, calorie counting, it's great. Just do it the right way. Don't be like, yeah, I'm going to calorie count, but I'm going to be in a deficit and then hate it because you eat 1,200 calories for breakfast.
100%.
Yeah. Oh.
Cool. What do you reckon?
I reckon that sounds like we've
Yeah.
great to, you know, get to know Rach a bit more. I think this is probably the longest I've ever spoken to you, Rach.
Oh, yeah.
Would have been
Probably
100%.
too,
So
yeah.
That's the beauty.
I
That's the
definitely
beauty of
learned-
the podcast.
I definitely learned a lot about your background and about who you are. So thanks for coming. And Jack, any last remarks, or Rach, any last words you want to say? If people want to contact you, if they want to know more about you, where do they go?
Well, you know where I am. I'll be at Underway, or Instagram, RACHEL GEDYE, at RACHEL GEDYE _ maybe. Can't remember.
Yeah, we'll throw it in the
Just-
we'll throw it
it'll
in the
be on
bio.
the-
Yeah,
it'll
we'll
be
throw it
on
in the link.
Underway page somewhere.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, Rach, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for coming on, and yeah, appreciate it. I'm sure we'll have you on in the future. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, same. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Cool.
See ya.
Peace out. Nice,
Oh.
Rach.